I'm Dr. Mark Foullong. I've been a practicing chiropractor for 30 years, and I'm here to teach you the importance of your spine and, more importantly, your nervous system in the overall health and performance of your body. Your body was created to be healthy, and it has its best chance to be healthy when it's connected from brain to tissue and from tissue back to brain. And so our role as chiropractors is to help restore that connection, to give your body its best chance to perform at its best by having that optimal connection. Your body has an incredible ability to heal, and our job is to tune you back into that. The human body is even more important when it comes to fueling. We need to put good stuff into our body. We need to fuel our body like a high-performance sports car, especially for those of us that need to perform at our best, as a parent, as a first responder, as an athlete. Thinking from a chiropractic standpoint, some of the things we can do really simple is making sure your hydration is good. Your body, your joints need to be lubricated and things can't dry up. So we need to make sure that we're drinking good quality and good amounts of water every single day. There's many things that we do that dehydrate us, so even more so, it's more important to make sure we keep hydrating ourselves. But then there's things that, let's say, your joints love, whether it's your knees, your shoulders, your elbows, or your spinal joints. And one of those is omega-3 fats. Fish oil is one of the sources of them. Making sure that you're putting good fat into your body, your joints will love you for that, but also your brain will love you for that too. There's this old expression they used in computer world, and it's very important when it comes to the body. It's the same thing. If you put garbage in, you get garbage out. So to understand how chiropractic care impacts overall health, probably it's first best to understand what a chiropractor does. See, as chiropractors, most people know we work with the spine, but most people don't understand the reason that we're so focused on the spine and we work with it all day, every day, is because of what runs through the spine. And that's the spinal cord and these nerves. See, it's not a mystery to anybody that the brain runs the body. And for the brain to control the function of the body, they have to be connected. Every cell, every tissue, every organ needs a connection to our brain. And that connection is our spinal cord. And that spinal cord branches off from the spine out these nerve pathways going to every cell, every tissue in the body. So the alignment of the spine, the movement of the spine is critical to the health of that nerve system. And as chiropractors, we check that spine for areas of misalignment, which we call subluxations. And those can interfere with brain-body communication or body back to the brain communication. And so our job is to remove that misalignment, to restore proper mobility and alignment, to get the body in its best state to function and heal by itself. Many people come to see us with injuries, with pain. They might have migraine headaches or sciatic pain or low back pain or whatnot. Sure, that brings people in our door, but our goal is to really help their body function at its best, to be able to heal by itself. And so we want to restore that connection between brain and body. Sciatica is a very common thing that will bring people in to see us as chiropractors. To understand that, you have to realize the sciatic nerve is a branch of the nerves that come from the lower lumbar and sacral segments in this lower part of the spine. And when the spine is not aligned properly and is causing pressure, irritation to that nerve, you can get that sciatic shooting pain down the legs. Most people don't realize that sciatica is not a leg problem, it's a lower spine problem. And by restoring proper alignment and movement to this lower spine, we can get those nerves firing back in balance, and that leg can start to heal and function better on its own. Neck problems are another really significant issue that affects a lot of people. And neck injuries aren't just felt in the neck. Many times they can affect the shoulders, the arms, the hands, and the fingers, because that's where these nerves go here. So people can oftentimes get shoulder problems, carpal tunnel, tendinitis, tennis elbow, and many times it's related to a nerve problem here where the spine has misaligned and is causing irritation to those nerves. As chiropractors, our job is to restore that proper movement and alignment there so that the body has its best chance to function, heal properly with that shoulder problem, with that elbow or wrist or finger problem, right? Getting it reconnected brain to body is the answer with many of these conditions. That body is in its best state to function properly, and that can help it heal from an injury, but it also puts puts it in a state where it is performing at its best. And so that's kind of what we do, whether someone's injured or they're just wanting to be at their best for sport or just for daily life, getting that spine and nerve system at optimal function. Very common for first responders like paramedics and firefighters to suffer spinal injuries. They could be back injuries from an actual physical trauma on the job, but they could also be chronic states of elevated stress where they're not able to come down into a healthy tone in between times they need to perform in emergency situations. We want to get them in a state where their body is able to relax in between. There's a part of the nervous system called the parasympathetic nervous system, which we all need to bring us back into balance. And chiropractic care kind of helps restore that balance between the sympathetic, the fight-flight part of their nervous system, and the parasympathetic, the rest and digest part of the nervous system, to allow them to be able to, to recover in between high stress and high physical demand situations so they can perform and always be at as near 100% as possible. For first responders, really importantly, they need to be at their best when they're in that high stress or emergency situation. There's a lot of things they can do in between that allow them to get there. And one is taking meticulous care of their body. The body is designed to move. We're not designed to be still. And so really practicing prevention for them is making sure in between that they're really taking excellent care of their body and making sure that they're not going to be getting to work and when the demands are high, having a subpar level of performance. So to understand stress, it's really important to understand the body and how the body was actually designed to deal with stressors. It's a common misconception that stress is something that can be avoided. It's impossible. We live in a world where there's going to be things that challenge us, but our body is equipped to be able to deal with that. There's two parts of the nervous system, the sympathetic, or what's called the fight-flight nervous system, and then there's, on the other side, the parasympathetic, or the rest and digest part of the nervous system. And day to day, we need to have a tone or a balance between those two parts of the nervous system. So at any one time, if we're called to be in a stress situation, maybe it's an elite athlete on the playing field where they have to perform, or maybe it's a firefighter rescuing someone out of a car that they're trapped in or out of a burning building, that they have to be in that sort of stress mode where their body needs blood flow, they need more muscle strength and so forth to be able to perform there. Having that available when you need it, but being able to then get that stress settled down and get more in that rest and digest mode so they have proper sleep and proper physiological functions in their body so that they're always in that sort of balanced place, able to call on one system or the other. Really, that's a state that allows them to perform when they need it, but heal and recover in between those instances. There are different types of stress, and certainly people always think of the mental, emotional stresses that we all deal with. And some people, very acutely so. Maybe there's been a financial stress where there's been a loss of work or loss of a loved one, or, maybe just someone in the family is ill or dealing with illness on their own. And that stress, if it just keeps building and building and there's not an outlet for that, can store up in our tissues. We literally see that muscles will tighten up. Organs stop to function at their best. Maybe we're not digesting properly. Maybe our breathing is labored. Maybe our bowel movements and so forth start to become irregular. And these things over time can lead to health issues. And so as chiropractors, our goal is to try to get that body back in a balanced tone. Maybe if someone lost their home or lost a loved one, it can put them in a state where, one, the motivation isn't there to do anything, but number two is where they're maybe not able to because the body's just all caught up in that stress state. And so the encouragement there is to get the body moving again. As chiropractors, we're all about movement. Motion is life. People can do that on their own from a standpoint of exercise, getting to the gym, walk again, start jogging or whatever to get the body moving. Exercise is a very effective way of mitigating stress, helping us get back into a state of balance. There's going to be a process that we have to deal with when dealing with really high stress, traumatic situation like that. But the goal is use the tools you have at your fingertips, at your disposal. Getting moving again, getting exercising again can make a big difference. Some of the growing number of health issues we see nowadays are from people people that are sedentary, that they're not moving. Exercise is one way for us to get movement back into our lives. And for some people, that's as simple as just getting out and walking. Walking is actually one of the best exercises we can choose to do. There's certain sports that people may want to get into that will start getting them active again. Really, really importantly, we also want to get resistance exercise, pushing weight. Sometimes that's just working with your body weight. Sometimes that's physical weights in the gym or resistance like bands that you have at home. These things, they start to build strength, change the hormonal systems in the body. They literally lubricate the joints, and that's one way to protect the body and keep it moving. It literally is investing in your future when you take care of your body, and exercise is a critical element of that. The effects of stress can't be outletted, if you will. The body tends to store it. And a common way we see as chiropractors, it stores it in the muscle tissues. That's where you get tightness, tension in the muscles, and that can lead to things like neck pain, back pain, headaches are a very common effect of stored stresses within the body. We have to figure out a way to outlet that. Creating a reset in the nervous system, through chiropractic adjustments is certainly one very effective way to do that. But getting that movement back in the body, to start to release that stress and, sort of empty that cup that's sort of filled up to overflowing with stress will help bring it back down and give the body a better chance to adapt. Stress is the accumulation of the body's inability to adapt to its environment. And it's a lot more adaptable when our nerve system is in that state of balanced tone. Some of the best ways to prevent injury is making sure that you optimize your health and your function in between. It's no surprise to anybody that if you take care of yourself and that your body is in a high level of health and performance, that when an injury does come along, that your body's going to come out of it better. To understand the vagus nerve and its role in the body, it's a very important one. You have to sort of backtrack a little bit and understand the autonomic nervous system, which the vagus nerve is a very key part of. Autonomic nervous system is composed of two parts. One is the sympathetic nervous system. That's our fight-flight response. And the other side is our parasympathetic nervous system. That's our rest and digest response. Some people think of it like the gas pedal and the brake. And when you're driving a car, there are times when you need the gas pedal, you need to go. And when you're driving a car, there are times when you need to slow down and you need to stop and you need to brake. And there's a harmonious balance we need to have between both of those. We need one when we need it, and we need the other when we need that. Now, the vagus nerve is part of the parasympathetic nerve system, the rest and digest part of the nerve system. And it's literally probably the most significant part of that nervous system. It affects our entire digestive system, our cardiovascular system. And we want to have what we call a healthy vagal tone, a healthy balance or harmonious balance between that fight-flight sympathetic and that rest and digest parasympathetic. And so a healthy parasympathetic or vagal tone allows us to have healing, that we can have good quality of sleep. And while we're sleeping, our body can repair and heal tissues that have been injured or just tissues that need to recuperate from the daily activities and physical stresses of daily life. We look at the vagus nerve as a very, very key element of that sort of healing part, that normal function part of the nerve system. So if you're a first responder and you've been injured, first and most important is get help. A lot of times when you're in the business of helping other people, the person that gets neglected when getting help is yourself. And so my recommendation is find a professional that can address your issue, that can determine first off what is the problem, and then come up with an effective strategy to help you heal and recover through that problem. If you're a person that's dealing with a high stress situation, maybe a single parent trying to raise multiple kids on a shoestring income, or maybe someone who's facing a loss, recent loss, or potential loss in their life, you need to prioritize yourself. You need to look at what can I do for me to help others around me. We can very much be in a situation where we're so focused on others around us and we start to lose our own health in the process. And high stress situations are where you need to be at your best. And so I would encourage you to get help. Find someone, a professional maybe in some cases, that can carry you through that and help you find a way to see that light at the end of the tunnel and get yourself through it. There's always hope.